Latin America, the physical geography. So during this course of study, we're going to be looking at how Latin America is made up physically, looking at the geographic regions. But the first thing we're going to look at is what the land is like. The land. Over 8 million square miles make up the land of Latin America. Within this 8 million square miles, we have 3 subregions: Middle America, the Caribbean, and South America. Within these areas, we have mountains. These mountains stretch from Alaska all the way to the tip of South America, with many different names along the way. Some of these names you might even be familiar with, like the Rocky Mountains, the Sierra Madre in Mexico, and then the Central Highlands in Central America, and lastly in South America, this would be the Andes Mountains. So after listing off the different names for this mountain range that stretches from Alaska to the tip of South America, we have to look at the mountains and lowlands a little bit more specifically. The Andes Mountains. These mountains stretch 4,500 miles. Peru and Brazil, 2 large countries in South America, both have highland areas. Highland being a term that means high land, an area of higher terrain. Colombia, Venezuela, Argentina, and Uruguay have inland grasslands that are great for grazing cattle. So these are areas where farms can be put into practice, where they can have cattle ranches, where they can grow crops. Our next topic are water systems. The most famous water system that is located within the Latin America landscape is the Amazon River. It's almost 4,000 miles long, way longer and way more powerful than the mighty Mississippi River of North America. The Parana, Paraguay, and Uruguay rivers are the second longest water system in South America. Because of all this water that we have flowing in South America, hydroelectric power, electricity generated by moving water, has become very common. It's very efficient and very cost-effective way of producing electricity. And some other waterways in Latin America, we have the Rio Grande, the Panama Canal, and Lake Titicaca. Now, the Panama Canal is a man-made waterway, but it's been very influential into the development of Central America. Natural resources. Latin America has very rich deposits of oil and natural gas. Because of these deposits, countries like Venezuela have become very powerful in OPEC, the oil producing and exporting countries that dictate most of the world oil prices. Here's a chart that talks about crude oil production and crude oil reserves. And if you look at it, you see which countries are producing the most and have the most reserves. Venezuela, a country that is not our ally, but we do buy oil from, has a lot of oil. Next, we're going to look at the climate and vegetation in Latin America. Elevation and climate. We have a chart here that talks about the Tierra Helada, the Tierra Fria, Tierra Templada, and the Tierra Caliente. Now, if you know Spanish, that might help you a little bit with understanding what those terms mean. But this chart is one that you should put down in your notes, and it will really help you to get an idea of how the climate regions in places where in South America with the Andes Mountains all the way down to some of the grasslands works together. And next would be the climate and vegetation regions. We have the tropical wet, tropical dry, humid subtropical, and the dry climates. So when you're reading your text, after going through this notes, you should take note of what all of those mean. So make sure you do your interactive notebook and be ready to discuss all the topics and ideas in these notes. Thank you.